Hi, friends. Good morning. Happy Saturday. I hope you guys are having a good morning. It's not quite so smoky down here, which is nice. But I have a feeling it's going to get a little bit worse as the day goes on. So I am hunkering down inside all day with the puppy, getting caught up on some emails that I have been putting off for a long time, for a few weeks. Do you guys know about Email Debt Forgiveness Day? I can't remember what day it is, but it's from, let's see, Email Debt Forgiveness Day. It's from the podcast Reply All, and August 31st. Yay, it's coming up. August 31st is Email Debt Forgiveness Day. I'm going to put this link in the show notes because I really love this concept. So the concept is you get to respond to any email that someone has sent you, whether it was like 10 years ago or, it's just been like way too long since you responded and now you're like too embarrassed to respond. So you send them you send them this link, Email Debt Forgiveness Day, and then you respond to the email as though it's totally normal that you didn't respond to this email for like 10 years. So that's what I'm working on today. I'm doing some computer stuff. I'm doing some filming for Splendid Yoga Online, and I'm putting together my new meditation course, which is going to be all about how to mess with your hair on camera. No, it's going to be all about how to use meditation to increase productivity, to get you and your brain and your nervous system and your soul and your spirit and everything that comprises you in the spirit to be productive, whatever that means for you. If you have to go and corral a bunch of kids all day, then the meditation is going to help. If you have to go sit in front of a computer and write all day, then this is going to help. So it's going to be a free 7-day course that I'm recording over the next few days. So if anyone's interested in being a beta tester for my new productivity meditation course, leave a comment or DM me, and I would love to get your feedback. So, hi friends, hi whoever's joined us. I can't see you. I wish I could see you. Leave a comment so I know who you are and that you're here, please. And if you know how I can like see who is looking at me. Oh wait, here we go. Viewing. No, that doesn't help me. I'm here to talk about how to bring joy into the work that you do. And I'm focusing on bringing joy into how you create content because that's kind of, the workshop that I'm building up to. But you can use these techniques for any work that you're doing, right? Anything that you trade your time for money or for some other sort of valuable thing. That's what work is. So, if you do it from a place of like, oh, I have to do this, oh my gosh, I have to do this, that leaves a little seed of resentment. So, the first tip I have is to be really careful in terms of how you phrase the things that you have to do. And I talked about this a little bit yesterday in terms of like, well, if you died tomorrow, would you really have to do this? Like, would it really get done? Would someone else sweep in and do it? And the answer is like, if it actually did really need to get done, then yeah, someone else would take care of it. And if it didn't really need to get done, then it would just float off into the ether, into the universe where all the to-do lists that didn't get done end up. So when you hear the phrase come out of your mouth or into your head, I have to do this, I want you to rephrase it to I get to do this. Because indeed, everything that we're doing is a choice. We all have free will, and anything that feels like I have to, like someone else is forcing me to do this, that's a trick. That's a trick to keep you from your peace and your joy. And so you've got to identify it, you've got to observe it. Oh, do I have to do that? And then you have to turn it into a privilege, something that's a privilege to do. Oh my gosh, I'm so honored. I get to take my dog for a walk and clean up his poop this morning, whatever it is. Still doesn't have to be your favorite thing, but just that little switch in terms of how you phrase what you're doing of like, I get to do this. I'm choosing it. Because I am choosing it, I can give myself the opportunity to experience the joy of choosing what I get to do. So I have worked with a lot of people who are going through a transition. For example, people who are retiring, people, the baby boomers, that transition from working in their business model, which no longer exists, right? Where you work for 25 years or whatever and you get your pension and then you get to live your life. That transition is really hard because suddenly you lose your sense of purpose, and you tell yourself you're going to do all the things you told yourself you were going to do while you were going to that job. And what happens is when you wake up and you don't have someone else depending on you to be somewhere, the body starts to panic. That's actually an evolutionary response because we're programmed to need each other and to hold each other accountable to how we need each other. It's one of the beautiful parts of coming here in this human form. We're pack animals. We like to hang out with each other. Even the introverts, even those of us who are introverts, we still need some people time too. So, in terms of how this relates back to bringing joy, these clients would come to me because they were getting depressed and their body was starting to experience the chronic pain that happens to everyone. You know, once you get past a certain age, your body just hurts. And so, what I would offer them is the perspective of what can you do today to help someone else? And that's what would give them that sense of purpose of, oh, hi, Amy. Yeah, I'm glad you're joining us again this morning. Um, so that's what would give them that sense of purpose in terms of like, okay, you said you were going to get up and golf every morning. Like, let's think about the people you're meeting to go golfing and how much they're depending on you to round out that foursome. Or you said once you finally had enough time, you were going to work out every day. Like, let's talk about the personal trainer you're going to hire who really needs, you know, the money that you saved up all these years so that you could afford to pay someone to do the things that you actually said you want to do. But what happens with a lot of my clients in that age is they actually end up going back to work because they love it. There's an addiction quality to it, but there's also just like humans. It feels good to be productive, right? It feels good, especially like if you're contributing in a way that you can directly see who you're helping and get that instant feedback. Like, oh, that feels really good. Being like, yeah, thanks. We did this as a team. We made it happen. So the difference for them was that they chose to go to work, right? They didn't have to because they couldn't afford not to, right? They chose it because they knew there was something about it that was gonna feed their soul and give them a sense of fulfillment. And so I realized, like, well, why we were choosing this all along. You were just making yourself miserable for 25 years, telling yourself you had to. So I offer this to you. Hopefully, you still have a chance. No, we all have chances. We all have so much time. But you can start right now today to give that feeling of I am choosing this. Everything I'm doing today, I'm choosing to do it with joy. It's my privilege to do it. I get to do it, not I have to do it. So in terms of where that comes into creating content, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my process, about how I create content and how I maneuvered it from like, oh my God, this is something I have to do every day for all of my social media channels in order to get, you know, enough stuff going in the algorithm that people will start seeing my stuff. And it just felt like there was so much to do that I couldn't start. Or I would do too much, I would get really into it, and then I would burn out and not post anything for 3 weeks. And social media is all about consistency. So here's the process that I use that I'm going to teach you guys how to use in the Mindful Content Creation Masterclass workshop happening in a week, next Saturday. I scroll through my social media feed when I'm on my walk with my doggy with the intention of looking for content, with the intention of looking at a question someone's asking that I either have the answer for or that I'm willing to research to find the answer because the subject matter interests me. So this morning, I want to show you guys, it was in a private group, so I'm not going to quote it directly. I haven't asked permission, but just the general theme was this person was asking, how do I change the thoughts in my head? How do I reframe my perspective for these difficult thoughts that I'm having? And I thought, that's a good question. It's something I've had to learn how to do. I've had to have people help me with it. I still do. For my stickiest thoughts, I need to talk it out with someone and have them be like, okay, I can see how you're looking at it from this angle, but if you look at it from this angle, it's just a little bit brighter. So maybe we can retrain that brain to make those thoughts a little bit softer, a little bit gentler. So I turned that into my latest social media post on Instagram, where I wrote about a few of the stickiest thoughts that come up. And if you go to my Instagram, Splendid Yoga, the latest post with the handstands, oh good, it's gotten a bunch of likes in the last half hour, is all around how to reframe your thoughts. Okay, so that's how I found my inspiration. I did some quick market research. It took me like 5 minutes to come up with, a post that was interesting enough to me that I felt compelled, like, I can turn around 250 words on this pretty quick. I responded to the comment, and in that time, I responded to the comment, and that was like my first draft. That was just like a quick answer to the question. I copied and pasted that into my notes in my phone, and then I started to flesh it out from there. I included a few of my own personal stories. I included a little bit longer description in terms of like the person reading this wasn't going to have the context of that Facebook group original post. So I needed to, give them a little bit more context about what the post was about. And then I tried to make it as interesting as I could. They can't all be winners, but there are a few keywords that you can use over and over again that will resonate with your audience, and it's different for everyone, for each industry. I teach that in another one of my courses, how to find those keywords that you should use over and over again in your marketing. And then I tied it into a spiritual component. I tied it into the Buddhist concept of Mara. And I love talking about Mara because Mara is so omnipresent in all of our lives. But most importantly, I wanted to give an homage. I wanted to honor the lineage that had helped me, right? This is why it's not cultural appropriation. I'm calling out, like, this is the information that was given to me in terms of how you can use the wisdom of the different cultures and spiritualities and languages that we use to describe it, to create a gentler life situation for yourself and to guide yourself a little bit closer to joy every single time. So that's kind of my system. I market research, I look for information, I do a rough draft publicly, and while I was writing it, a notification came up that someone had responded to my comment in, the 10 minutes or so it took me to write the post. And I was getting good feedback. So I was like, okay, I know I'm heading in the right direction. And then I read it out loud. That's a big part of it. After you think you're done writing it, read it out loud, because that's where you're going to catch all the weird little typos that autocorrect threw in there, or that's where you're going to be like, oh, I'm saying this out loud and this does not feel true anymore. This is actually not a true sentence. I need to change this sentence so that it actually reflects what I'm trying to say. And then you always want to end it with some sort of call to action. So for this one, I didn't necessarily need I didn't need to tell them, now comment on your own sticky thoughts. Like if I was writing, a blog post for someone else, I'd probably do something like that. But for me, I'm not necessarily inviting in commentary on it. This isn't necessarily one that I want to be a discussion. This is one that's just educational. So I just want people to take the information in, and so I wrote it such that I wanted people to save and share it with each other. So we'll see how that goes. So far I've reached 114 people in a half an hour, which is fine. That's a lot of people. Have you talked to 100 people? If I had to talk to 100 people live in the last half hour, I'd be so exhausted. Okay, so by the time I got back with my doggy and had my tea and toast, I'd already gotten my social media done for the day. Instagram is having a problem right now where it's not posting directly to Facebook, so a little bit later today I might post it on my Facebook if it gets, a good response in Instagram. If it's not blowing up, there's no real point in transferring it to Facebook because it's not going to blow up over there either. So that's not worth the effort. But the whole point of this is that I didn't dread any of this process, which is what I hear from a lot of my clients, is you just have that heaviness, that weight of oh, I have to do this. I have to do this. I was really looking forward to it because I knew I was going to help at least one specific person. And remember, I told you yesterday my metric for success is if it helps one person, it was totally worth it. So, just in responding to the comment on the original thread that inspired the post, I knew it was going to help them. And in expanding it out for an issue that, like, after I saw this person ask the question, I was like, oh, yeah, this is a question that comes up a lot. So, I know this is going to help a lot of different people. So I know like the process of helping others is what gives me joy. That's what kind of feeds my joy fire. And that's how it is for most of us, right? When the buck stops here, like that doesn't feel good because you're gripping so much. But if you can allow whatever you're doing just to flow through you without attachment and just send it out into the world, people will respond to that because people respond to joy, right? At least the people that you want to work with. You don't want to work with the people who respond to misery, to complaints, right? If those are the people you want to work with, then you've got to write those like withering, Facebook rants about everything that's wrong in the world. I personally find that to be incredibly draining. I want nothing to do with it. So I don't write like that. I write what I want to receive, and what I want to receive is joy. So I write with joy. If you cannot get yourself to that place of being like, I'm so excited to do this, I can't wait to send this message out into the world, don't do it. You're not ready yet. For whatever reason, you need to identify the block in your joy, whether it's actually, I just don't like social media. This isn't the avenue for me. I need to find something else. Or whether it's, I just don't like Facebook, but Instagram's okay, so I need to focus more on that. Or whether it's, there's something serious going on in my life that I really actually need to heal before I start putting my effort into this work. It's all about starting from that mindset of joy and pleasure, and I'm enjoying this, and I get to do this, and I'm so excited I get to do this. That's really going to build up your audience in a way that they will be compelled to pay you for your services because you're already giving them so much value. You're giving them joy, which is priceless. I'm gonna jump off. If y'all have any questions, you can leave some questions in the comments. If you're interested in the mindful content creation masterclass coming up in a week, next Saturday, I'm gonna put this link here in the comments. It's a 3-hour workshop. It's not gonna feel like 3 hours. It's gonna go by really quickly. These things always do. We're gonna learn how to find the joy of creating content. We're going to learn how to find the time to create content. We're going to learn how to create the habit. You're going to learn how to write well for social media so that your posts convert to money, so that people are excited to sign up, so that people give you their money with pleasure, so that they're so excited to be like, I want you to charge more so I can give you more money. There's going to be a bunch of bonuses for this first round. You're going to get a guided meditation that you can download. You're going to get some productivity resources just for your personality type. You're going to get access to my copy editing services for a social media post. You're going to get a tutorial on how to use Canva, a tutorial on how to use Lightroom to edit your photos, and a tutorial on how to set up your lights, your microphone, everything you need, even if you don't have it, how to like MacGyver it using whatever you do have around to make yourself look really incredible on camera. I hope you guys sign up. It's going to be a fun workshop. I limit it to 10 people, which means 5 people show up for the Zoom, which is a good kind of dynamic in terms of being able to like do some individual coaching with the types of social media content that you're trying to put out there, right? Whether you're selling a product or whether you're selling a coaching service or whether you're just trying to get your brand out there, or whether you're not sure, but you want to do something with it. You're just not quite sure what that thing is yet. We can work on it together and I'll tell you. But if you're like, I kind of want to do it because I like hanging out with you, I'm just not sure this is the one for me, then you should schedule a call with me to have a quick chat. I'm going to put that link in here as well. And we can talk about it. I can tell you if I think this is the appropriate program for you. And if it's not, I have other programs that you can sign up for that are either available now or will be available in the future that are more appropriate for you. The other thing I wanted to say real quick in terms of price is that um, all of this is for the purpose of propelling money forward, right? All of this is for the purpose of bringing money in. So I want you to keep that in mind as you invest in courses. If you're like, I'm going to do it, I also need you to make the commitment to make the time. And so whether you can join us for that first Saturday, that first workshop or not, I want you to really check in with yourself before you sign up and give yourself permission to be like, do I look forward to this? Is this something I'm gonna like be really excited to take a glance at? Or is this something that's just gonna be like another thing on the to-do list? Because I want you guys signing up to do it with like 2 thumbs up. My body is telling me this is what I wanna do. And if it's like, yeah, I don't know yet, then let's chat about it and we'll figure out what that kind of block is all about. Have a great Saturday, friends. Stay safe out there. It's a dangerous world, but it's a joyful world too. Look for the joy, look for the light.